New friends.
Paya.
And mimosas. Yeah. Instructor?
Yes, I am. I teach Taekwondo over at Home of Martial Arts in Houma, Louisiana. And then on Tuesday, Thursday nights, we have Scotty Smith of Next Generation Martial Arts in Thibodaux. He comes in and does jiu-jitsu.
Okay.
Or at least somebody who represents his school. So, it was something I wanted to do for a long time, which was to kind of bring a couple arts together so that the people that train there can learn multiple styles of martial arts. Mm-hmm. And thankfully, I hooked up with Scotty a few years back, and I currently have a blue belt under him, which I'm really, really proud of. In my black belt Taekwondo, man, it was a grueling journey, but man, such great guys at that school, so I'm really pumped.
And the girls, y'all say hi. Come pull over. The girls are here.
Yeah, we got the girls.
The girls are say hello. You have to squeeze. There they are.
The little ninjets.
Do they get to go to school also?
Yeah, they've been doing Taekwondo since they were little bitty. Bella's a red belt, black stripe. Zoe's a blue belt, red stripe, and Juliet's a green belt, blue stripe.
Mm-hmm.
They've gone and competed and fought other girls in Texas, and
That's cool.
Yeah, it's really neat, man.
Did y'all ever break the board? All of y'all?
Yeah, we should have brought some boards. Huh? Instead, y'all break boards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With your elbow?
Did I hit one with my elbow when I tested?
I think once before. Yeah.
I think I hit one like this too.
Yeah, you did.
Your fist.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's very cool. Well,
they can take care of themselves.
Self-defense.
Yeah, or if they ever get attacked by a hauling load of lumber,
They'll be able to protect themselves. Absolutely.
Had DJ Red.
Right on, yeah.
Once. I don't know if you saw it.
I might have seen a clip or something, but I haven't been able to watch the whole thing.
He was telling us you were in a band with his brother.
Oh, well, when I was younger, I played in a local cover band, but Benji would play on jam nights on Tuesdays, and sometimes we would just go together. We weren't like technically in a band together, but like he would do Tuesday night jam night, and like sometimes I'd go up there and
so
jam with him.
You're a lead.
I was a lead singer for a cover band, when I was younger.
Awesome.
I wouldn't consider myself the next American Idol or anything, but it was something I loved doing. I was probably more of a charismatic showmanship, kind of what brought me here now. The guys I played with reluctantly were really talented musicians, which probably made me sound a little better. But I had a great time during those days. Shout out to Ross, Tim, Sean, Ryan Rodriguez, Brandon, Bear, great guys I all played with. Funny story. Actually, Ryan and Brandon that I had originally played with, we were all kind of in an argument on what we should name the band, and so I had called up Brandon. I was like, dude, just say something real quick, so we just named the band. And then he was looking at a magazine of Dolly Parton, and he said, hey, how about Dolly Parton? And I go, well, no, I thought he said Dolly Parton, and I was like, no. And he goes, no, we'll spell it like Dalai Lama and the word pardon. And I was like, that's brilliant. So that's what we ran with. So anybody watching this now who was like a fan of that band might be kind of like, wait, that was you? Because that was like over 10 years ago.
That's what I was
going to ask
you.
It was like 2006, 2009.
Okay. Was it before you met Misty?
Oh, no. We were together since 2004. So Misty's always been a trooper of any of my endeavors. Like, poor thing, man. Like, well, I'm saying like during the band days, I used to just like load up band gear in the back of her car, and we'd go play a gig, and we wouldn't get home till like 4:00 in the morning, so like we'd go to bed, but then we'd still have to work the next day, so she'd be hauling around these big speakers that smelled like a bar room.
Like my car smelled like a bar room.
When did the whole Cajun Ninja happen?
Oh no.
So that was 2016. Yeah, 2016.
So y'all were married a while?
Yeah, we got married 2009. time. Yeah. And I did several years in the oil field and faced some up and downs.
Okay.
You know, and through that time, I was like, well. It was like the last like layoff I went through. I was like, I kind of want to do something that's me. So I told Missy, I was like, hey, I'm not ready to get back into the corporate world. At that time, it was really frowned upon to be doing anything silly on social media. Really being on social media in general was not really what like corporate America or whatever was, wanting. So I remember I'd get in trouble just from my personal page, just doing something. I'd get called in the office, like, hey, you can't pretend to milk the cow, in North Dakota. Well, to give you a little backstory, there was this huge statue of a cow in North Dakota, and I used to travel there for work, and I was like, man, I want to get a picture with that statue. I mean, when I tell you the statue's huge, it's probably big as this house.
Okay.
It's impressively big. So I got somebody taking a picture of me milking the cow, and I posted it on my personal page. I didn't even have a fan page back then, but like some people that worked in the offices saw it, and they were like, oh, look what Jason's doing, and I'd get in trouble. So I always felt like I had someone like watching over me.
Yeah.
And when I got laid off, I was like, I told her, I was like, I just want to do me. I just want to be able to upload something and not care, and not have somebody on me, and hey, kick it up, man. It was a blessing.
Yeah.
A blessing in disguise.
Amen.
Absolutely.
So when that happened, that's when the whole Cajun Ninja started. Was your original page called Cajun Ninja?
No, it was actually called What You Do in the Ruin. So it was like a play on my last name, and I had no intentions of doing cooking.
Okay.
I tell the story a lot, but like the guy that I love to follow is Gary Vaynerchuk, and he was always real big on creating content. But his thing is create content around your true passion, like what you just love the most in life. And like you really have to go kind of deeper your core there, because like you could say basketball, but like for me it's like I just love entertaining. I love entertainment. I love talking to people and making people laugh. So that's what I was doing. But his thing is, from there you want to put that at your center, but you want to do things around it that you truly love. Cooking was something I loved doing, but I never thought it would be like the thing I do. So I just kept doing funny videos, what have you, and then one day I cooked gumbo, and that's what went viral. And his thing from there is when something goes viral, double down on it.
Wow.
So that's what I did.
That's awesome.
Yeah, pretty wild.
And so your life changed instantly after that?
Well, so
Once you went viral?
yeah, so it was actually it's a lot crazier than most people think. Like a lot of people, it's funny. Some people will say, all you had to do was cook gumbo, and that's not all I did. Like I did a lot of other cooking videos before it got to where it is now.
Okay.
And the thing is when it first went viral, it wasn't all sunshine and rainbows. Man, you need to come down here and we'll show you how to really cook. And I saw he was from like Ville Platte, and I was like, man, I gotta drive 3 hours north just to get to you, And like, even though like, dude, like Ville Platte is a very Cajun, like they really are very Cajun. But like, it was just funny that the guy's telling me like I need to come down here, and I'm like, dude, I am down here, But like, I mean, I learned a lot from doing cooking, and really it taught me a lot, not just of cooking, but just life in general, that we all have preferences. And like, really, there's nothing wrong in life at all unless it hurts somebody physically or mentally.
Right.
Like beyond that, it's really not wrong. Like if you want to have pizza and ketchup, like, and that's what you like, if you want a well done steak and that's what you like, I wouldn't do it. But I mean, if you do, yeah. And and I think a lot of people are afraid to do them because of what the backlash might be.
Yes, the judge.
Yeah, and so like we're not really truly finding out our true selves because we're so afraid of what someone else might think. But when you really just stop and think about, like, you get this one chance in this flesh,
YOLO.
Yeah, enjoy it and find out what it is about you. Even your name is really not you; it was given to you. So like find out who you really are.
That is an amazing point.
Yeah. So so I'm always grateful for the page. I think, like I said, it taught me a lot just in life in general.
So how did you deal with the the comments, you just moved on past it? Or,
Well, at first I really.
that's when you did the you do you.
Well, no, I came to a point. I remember early on where I was like, this ain't worth it, and I was about to delete the page. And then, as soon as I was thinking that, it was like the good people started showing up. That's why I always think there's divine intervention constantly. And then for some reason, things just came over me where I was like, like when you do this kind of stuff and you go viral, like your fear is like, maybe I shouldn't say this or say this. I don't want to mess it up. And something came over me where I was like, I just don't care. And so like when people come in and say, oh, that sucks, I'd say, hey, keep scrolling.
Oh.
Like find something else to watch.
That's right.
And my mom was like, Jason, you don't want to do that. People are going to not like you. And I told her, I was like, you know what, Mom? I said, honestly, if I can't just be myself and say how I'm feeling in the moment, I don't think I want this page. And what I discovered is that there was a silent majority. Like a lot of times when people were coming in and saying nasty things, and I would just tell them to move along or watch something else. So many people heard that comment. They were like, yes, and now I'm kind of glad that like if somebody comes in hot with some kind of negative, I tell them where to go, because there's too many good people to keep up with for me to keep keeping up with the bad.
Make everybody happy.
No, you can't at all.
The problem is that society we highlight the bad, and we put focus on them instead of saying no. You know what? Majority of people are really good in this world.
Amen.
Those are the ones that we need to focus on.
Yeah, right.
Nailed it.
Yeah.
Nailed it. Yeah.
I love the way you make them part of it.
Yeah. Well, I try to definitely incorporate them, but at the same time, I don't want it to become this like family vlog channel, where it's like we got to keep putting out content of the kids and all. And there are a lot of people that do very well at that. I don't want to get my own self so wrapped up that I've make them working in it, So whenever there's times to incorporate them, or if they want to be in it, like
do they enjoy it?
Oh gosh, they want their own channel.
Ask them if they. Do y'all enjoy it? Yes. Yeah.
Tell everybody what you cook at home. Sometimes I help my dad make a roux.
Oh.
And once he let me help him make breakfast on his Blackstone.
That'd use an egg, huh? Yeah, some French toast or grilled cheese sandwich. We did that, huh?
Yeah, grilled cheese. And then some eggs.
Yeah.
Wow, to make a roux at her age.
For real.
Oh yeah.
I'm 43 and still can't.
Love the meaning of paya.
And it was crazy. I didn't really like have a meaning for it, but like I searched for a depth of it when I wrote it out, because like it was a saying that I heard growing up as a kid. My uncles would be like, "Come on, paya." There was wrestlers that would use that term,
Did it always have the five? It's five.
When I wrote it just like that, and I was like, why would I put so many, and I realized there was 5 H's and there was 5 of us, and then I had 2 exclamation points, and at the time, I was like, to me it almost looks like another H, and I was like, well, if we ever have another baby, it'd be a big surprise. And then it turned out we rescued 2 dogs, Gumbo and Hazel. So I was like, well, that's my little exclamation points.
Yeah.
And then pi is 3.14. So I was like, I Googled let me see what first Bible verse that comes up when I Google 3.14, and it was Philippians, and it said, I press on towards the goal in which I've been called in Christ's name. Yeah, which I was like, wow, that to me felt like. Do you
call yourself a chef, or do you just enjoy cooking? What are?
Yeah, I don't typically do. And I hadn't I'm more. I don't know if the word's reluctant or okay, to say it now, but I definitely didn't for a long time. I felt like it was something that somebody went to culinary school for and earned it, and But the more I've been in the industry and through restaurants, there's a lot of people working in restaurants that never went to culinary school, and they just kind of learned through trial and error. Like doing a podcast, right? So yeah, I'm more okay with it now, but I still kind of just call myself a home cook.
How long has the seasoning been out?
Funny enough, I created that in the best year ever, 2020. So, it was actually 19 and 20. I was that whole 2-year process. I was like, testing seasoning blends, measuring all out in my kitchen. I always say it was like Breaking Bad of seasoning. I had the gram scale, I was measuring everything.
Like, really?
And then, like Missy had like a lot of her Tupperware was different seasonings,
Like just all over the counter in the kitchen.
Yeah, and then we would send it off to the blender, and they'd send me a mass production sample, and I'd be like, no, that's not it. And it was a process, to get it to where, I really thought this was it. This is what I think I enjoy, my family enjoys, and even then, I still was a little bit leery of whether or not I got it where I wanted it, because I thought I maybe made it a little too spicy. But it was Bella, who was 8 at the time, who was actually like eating it out of a plate and going, She would do this though. But but she would eat it.
A little spice.
Yeah, so the idea was, and it was very hard to try to pull off, was that if you use it raw, you can get that kick, but not overbearing salt.
Right.
But if you cook with it, it actually tones down. Yeah, when you cook with it, because a lot of us cook with fats, either roux or fats of meats, and fats will tone down spice.
Okay.
And it's hard to find the happy medium of cayenne. But yeah.
It's very good.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
I enjoy it. Yes.
I really do appreciate that.
I have some also.
Yeah,
I have used it, and I'm
in moderation.
Yeah.
I'm actually like, hey, go buy it. It's good.
I do appreciate that.
So the process of doing it is just measuring and and then what? You send it off?
Yeah, so when you reach out to a local blender, you have to come up with your measurement in grams of the flavor you want. And then you give them each of those grams in ingredients, and then they create what is a mass production sample, because it will change some in a mass amount. It's like keep doubling your gumbo, right? And so thank you. So
Thank you.
after going through that several times, finally got it, and go from there.
Thank you.
Go out to these places and try to get it in, and I couldn't. And I'll never forget, man, I was in Lafayette area, and I put a post out, and I said, where you guys want to see the seasoning at? Because we were only selling it online, and people were putting different places in Lafayette, and someone said Little Verons, and I said, all right. I looked on the map, it was like a mile from me, so I went and drive to it, and I walked in, met with the guy, little young guy there, and I told him about the page and what have you, and he was like, yeah, man, seasoning's tough. And I was like, I get it, but I do have a pretty decent platform. I said, there's people that do want it. They've messaged me around here. He goes, I hear you, man, but it's just a tough thing to break into. Not many people really sell. And it was a small grocery store, so I could see how he felt that way.
Right.
And I said, well, look, man, I said, only reason why I'm here is because some people told me about it. What can we do? And he said, well, I'll tell you what, I'll take one case on consignment, which meant I left him a case. If he sells it, he'll pay me back. And I was okay with that. My only problem is a case is 12 cans. I said, I'm about to post to this page that has, hundreds of thousands of people following it.
Right.
Lafayette alone is 150,000 population. I said, you're going to have 12 cans. And he goes, well, you can leave me as much as you want, but I'm still going to do consignment. I said, all right. So I go to the car, I grab 10 cases. And then I bring it to the counter. Thank you. I go outside, I post a photo of me with it in front of Little Verons. The next morning, he sent an email. He said, man, come get your money. He said, bring me some more. So, I'm very grateful at that moment just because of how much support. But at the same time, too, there was trial and error in the beginning. I'm sure a lot of people, if they watch this, they'll remember, the season actually used to cake up in the beginning. And it was just a difference of granulated garlic and garlic powder. Garlic powder itself is super fine. Granulated is, more coarse. It allows it to flow better.
Right.
Yeah. Once we fix that problem, though, it's flowed really well, and it does really good.
It is gorgeous, let me just say. I love the pictures.
Yeah, the first thing. And, I could have thrown something together real fast, pages on a little ring binder, just quickly put something out there just to, capitalize on the demand. But for me, it was more important to put something together that they can carry on than just recipes. And in that book, they actually have a group picture with both sets of grandparents. taken a lot of pride in putting out recipes that I know I would cook, I know I would make. You know, like the bread pudding recipe in there, I made that one 4 times that week before I uploaded it.
Okay.
You know, little Juliet was still at home at the time. She'd wake up every morning, she goes, I love pudding bread. She'd smell it as soon as she wake up, I love pudding bread. You know? I think she was like 3. It was really funny. But yeah, you know, like I've always taken a lot of pride in making sure that it was something that I would cook. You know, I didn't just want to throw a recipe together. And so, you know,
I made the crawfish bread. It was so good.
Yeah, that was a great one.
It was gone. I made it for Thanksgiving, and it was gone. It's delicious. I suggest it. And actually, I mean, we're so busy also, but I saw the scrambled eggs.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, it's scrambled eggs, you know. But I'm like, let me try it. The best scrambled eggs you will ever have.
Yeah.
I'm the best.
You tell them what's the secret. I don't.
Well, I don't know if there's necessarily a secret, but you know, I make them with my seasoning.
I think that's what changes it.
Maybe, I don't know. I add a little bit of milk.
Or it's the ratio of the milk and the eggs.
Yeah.
Maybe that's it.
I've heard that helps make them fluffier. Who knows if that's really true?
It's really good.
My thing too is I always like to gently kind of fold them as I make them, and it helps bring all the egg to the middle and helps them fluff up. And the butter in there too, yeah, they come up pretty good. But you know, my whole book is a lot of low and slow, so I just don't rush the process. But yeah, I don't know if they're the best, but you know, if you like them, you know, hey, I appreciate it.
They were good. We were talking about crawfish. Like, what was the craziest thing you ever seen in crawfish at one of our brunches? And I brought up tamales. And you have that in your cookbook.
Yeah,
so good. So, yeah, how do you
tamales?
Yeah.
How do you do that in a crawfish bowl though?
Oh, it's easy, man. You so you take them out the freezer because they're frozen.
Oh, frozen.
Yeah, have you ever buy the frozen packs of tamales at Rouse's? So like you know, they're all frozen, and you kind of just break them off, and then you put them inside a loose square of foil, and then you kind of loosely wrap it, and then you add them in when you soak. So you know, some people add like a bag of ice to cool down the pot.
Oh, okay.
I'll add frozen tamales. That's also when I add my frozen corn. So instead of like toggling the seasoning measurements, I add those in. I'll even throw in frozen boudin sometimes too. That's really good. Yeah.
So instead of the ice, you just put in frozen things in there just to cool it down.
Yep. Frozen corn, frozen tamales, frozen boudin, and man. The idea for me is if I have a bunch of awesome fixins, then I get leftover crawfish to make something.
Yeah.
You know?
I like the fixins more than the crawfish.
Yeah.
I like all of it.
You know what's so funny? Funny story about that? There's actually like they call it a Darwin dictionary in the book.
Yes.
And fixins is one of the words in there. And I thought, why do you want to put that? But that truly is a word that we know. You know, like you probably couldn't just say fixins to somebody in Maryland. You know. Fixins. You got any fixins? Fixin' of what?
What do you have a favorite recipe?
I do not, man. You know, like I tell people all the time to pick a favorite food. You know, for me it's like picking a favorite vacation or favorite pizza. You know, like there's just so many other places and things to do and try. You know, so like it's kind of like what I'm in the mood for that day. You know, now I love making crawfish etouffee. I am very partial to that dish because I think it's so unique to our culture. There's really nowhere as you can go and eat something and say, oh, that tastes like crawfish etouffee. You know, like it's just it's a here thing. You know, and I love that dish. You know, so.
Oh yes, I love crawfish etouffee too.
Yeah, it's so good.
What about you, Misty? Do you cook?
If I have to.
So you don't enjoy cooking?
I've started to.
Okay.
Since I watch his stuff.
Yeah, it's funny. I'll catch her like watching the video while she's doing it. So it's pretty cool. But yeah, you know, more and more I've tried to get Missy more in the kitchen. I think for Missy, the thing about her with cooking, and I'm sure a lot of people can relate, is that you really gotta have patience. And Missy's like, I want to get it done now kind of person.
Well,
you know?
because I'm thinking about, okay, this kid needs to go here, be
That's
picked up
Yeah.
from here. I don't have time to do this.
And I'm the man of the house. I don't think about that kind of stuff. You know?
I tell my husband all the time, like, you're thinking about tomorrow. I'm thinking about 2 weeks from tomorrow.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I'm not even thinking about tomorrow, you know. And then I don't even remember yesterday. So I'm like Dash.
How long did the book take? Did you do all the writing also? I wanted to ask you that.
Yeah, so every story, every recipe, you know, like the whole introduction, like, and like the cookbook people, like, probably hated me, you know, because like I'm such a procrastinator, and they needed all these stories, and it was like I remember like, because we'd be doing so much like stuff, and then we finally get a break, and then it's like, hey, you know, I need your introduction, you know, and that needs to be like 2 or 3 pages, and like we were finally going to the pool at like the country club, and so I'm like sitting at the pool like writing my introduction to this book, you know. And,
I mean, you're an awesome writer too, I have to say.
Well, I appreciate that. Yeah, thank you.
I loved to read the little stories that you had.
Yeah, there was some cool stories in there. Like one I put in there that I love was Lieutenant Percy Mosley? Yeah, he was a retired police officer in Terrebonne Parish, and I told a story of how when I was like 17, he pulled me over. Because like it was like, you know, we got those little like bridges over bayous, and I was rushing to work. I worked at Copeland's at the time, and I passed this car up because they were like going 10 miles an hour, and the light was green, and I'm like, I'm gonna miss that light. So like I passed them up on the bridge and came to the light, and I see him pulling out of like a storage unit place in his car, and I just pulled over, and he goes, he turns the lights on, comes right behind me. He goes, what the heck are you doing? And I said, sir, I'm late for work. I was just trying to get there as quick as I could. You know, he goes, where you work? I said, Copeland's. Now I'm going straight this way, but I pulled that way, and Copeland's was that way. He goes, well, you can't be going to Copeland's because you took a right. And I said, well, I took a right because I knew you was pulling me over. Yeah. And then he's like, who pays for this truck? And I said, I do. Who pays insurance on this truck? I said, I do. He said, you know, right now I can get you for passing and no passing, reckless operation of a vehicle. He goes, let me see your license. I said, man, I left my wallet at the house. He goes, and now you don't have a license. And I was like, man, he goes, call your dad up, tell him to come over here. And I was like, yes, sir. So I called my dad. My dad gets there. First thing he asked my dad, he said, hey, who pays for this truck? He goes, he does. He's like, who pays insurance? He said, he does. For whatever reason, I don't know, like I was extremely, you know, nice, you know, like he let me go with a warning.
Wow.
And that always blew my mind. So like every time I see him, he remembers that, we remember each other. And so like I saw him at a golf tournament about 6 months ago, and we took a photo together. I said, hey man, you mind if I tell this story and post it online, because I love this story? And he said, yeah, go ahead. And since he was cool with that, I decided to put it in the book.
Yeah.
And he said he's been getting all kind of calls, and which I you know, I told him, I said I need to go give him a cookbook, because you know, like everybody that was in the book, I wanted to give a book to. But yeah, it's such a great story of like being young and reckless.
He has all kind of little stories like that in the book. It's really a good book.
It's fun, man. You know, it was cool to like throw those in there. I loved how the publisher like did like black belt tips. You know, that was really cool. And you know, I thought the publisher did an amazing job on the book. They really did. They pieced it together very well.
Your own posting and keep up with all that yourself?
Yeah, and I've even like had meetings with Rouses sometimes, and they'll be like, how do you doing all that? Yeah, like because like I answer everybody. Like that's just me all the time. Like it's funny because I don't feel like I have a real job, but I work more at this than I have any job, which is weird, right?
Yeah.
And I say real job because it's just what we've grown up to know what a real job is, but like jobs in general have always been so vastly different than the few we knew of in middle school or high school, the things we're told, you know. So yeah, I put a lot of work into this, and you know, I try my best to answer people. I think I clear my inbox like every night. You know, just because I truly believe that the one-on-one personal is what's going to pay off in the long run. You know,
how humble you are.
I don't know any other way to be than that, with this platform, because like that's just, it's like my go-to safe place is hey, you're here because these people are supporting you,
And you even put it in your book for your dedication.
I thank the fans for sure, man. It's not possible, and that's why I don't know if or when ever how someone gets to a point where it's like, no, not today, I'm doing something, or I'm with my family, like for me, I'm so happy to meet the person, because I think they're the true celebrity, because without them it's a blank page, and it's to the point where I'll talk so much that they're like, all right, well, it's nice meeting you. And it's so true, man, because I'm like, oh, what'd you cook? That's great. I just start telling stories. So probably Missy's like, oh my gosh, we gotta get higher. Your podcast will probably run longer just because we toasted the end 20 minutes ago.